beside me in 3rd grade. Her skin was fair.
Currently on Kickstarter, and at time of recording with 11 days to go, and it still hasn't reached its $50,000 goal yet, but it's very close. That's Woolfe, the Red Hood Diaries, and it's currently being developed by Grin Gamestudio from Belgium. And as I'm sure you can see from that opening cinematic, it's basically a kind of gritty take on the Red Riding Hood character. Now, we didn't get to see much in terms of story in the preview build we were given, which, as you can see there, is an alpha build. It was actually playable on the Gamescom floor. In the build, there was parts of 3 specific levels, kind of given an idea of the different styles of gameplay. One was kind of more hack and slash combat focused. One was more kind of puzzle focused, a bit of traversal in there, and just kind of showing off what aspects there are to Woolfe, all of the aspects. Now, even with this alpha build, it's kind of clear to see that Woolfe is shaping up to be a very, very nice looking game. There are certain things that look a little bit dodgy here and there. Sometimes the water doesn't look quite spot on, but again, it is alpha. I mean, for the most part, the lighting is fantastic, and a lot of the environments do look very good for something that's currently in alpha. Technically speaking, yeah, there's a bit of work there, obviously. Red Riding Hood herself, so I was finding her getting caught in her animations at points when, for instance, in one section of one particular level, I was trying to jump across platforms and I had to do so quickly, but I kept on dying because of Red Riding Hood kind of getting, as she was landing, she was getting caught in her jump animation, which wasn't allowing me to jump again. As well as that, the AI is very ropey, particularly the couple of sections you're seeing now on screen. They were kind of attacking thin air at points, not going for Red Riding Hood herself. All things that I'm sure will be ironed out. In terms of just focusing on the combat, it seems okay. It's a little bit sluggish, a little bit slow, and for instance, you could only attack enemies whilst on the ground. You couldn't attack them while you were jumping in the air, for instance. And Red's jump is incredibly floaty, off-puttingly so. Trying to time jumps proved a little bit difficult. With this being a 2.5D kind of platformer, hack and slash kind of game, you're not moving from left to right on the screen. You're obviously kind of using the depth of your environment too, walking towards the camera, away from the camera, and trying to again judge distances of jumps and things like that is a little bit hard. The judging perspective, especially with the camera at points, because the camera can be quite slow to catch up with Red Riding Hood, which more often than not kind of resulted in death. For example, in one part I was trying to jump from platform to platform, and I think something hanging from the ceiling was basically knocking me into the water, and then I subsequently died. But I do like this sort of gritty take on the Red Riding Hood character, and also the voice actress is her delivery is really good, and hopefully the same can be said for the rest of the characters, none of which we got to hear from in this particular build. Again, very short. I finished the entirety of it in and around 20 minutes, and that was because I was having a bit of difficulty in one section of the demo where, as I explained, I was falling into the water because of something knocking me in there that I couldn't quite figure out. This is as I said, currently on Kickstarter, and it hasn't reached its goal yet, with, I'm guessing, about maybe 10 days to go by the time you're seeing this. But there's a bit of promise here. This could be an interesting game. There's quite a kind of an American McGee's Alice type of vibe from it. The music as well is fantastic, and it really has the kind of creepy fairy tale sort of Tim Burton feel to it. On their Kickstarter page, they have an estimated delivery on the reward just simply of the game for February of next year, which I'm guessing is probably just a placeholder date. I'm not too sure exactly if that will be the release date. But if it is, it'll be coming to PC, Xbox and PlayStation. So maybe by then you'll get to kill all manner of fairy tale creatures with your axe as Red Riding Hood.